Greetings, everyone. Master Grogan here. Hope you're having a fantastic day. So, how's everybody holding up? How we doing out there? We doing all right? Okay. Well, I know that starting tomorrow, May 1st, that some states are starting to open things back up, which, in my opinion, I think we need to get this thing moving. But I'm definitely not a medical expert. But I am a small business owner, and I know that other small businesses are really, really struggling, and it's tough. It really, really is. I read something the other day, and I'm almost titled this video "That Very Thing." Is where people say, we're in the same boat. Well, no, we're not. We might be in the same storm, but we're definitely not in the same boat. So that kind of brought on the thought of this video, because you see so many things on Facebook. Matter of fact, I post my stuff, and I've been spending less and less time, which has been really mentally helpful to spend less time. I know a lot of people have a lot of extra time on their hands. Here, being a small business owner, we're probably working far more now, and then the crazy amount of hours, just to kind of do our very, very best to facilitate what we're doing, to continue to engage with our students and our members, to give them the absolute very best possible virtual lessons we can, and all kinds of other things we try and add to the virtual classes, virtual lessons, virtual private lessons, and Facebook Lives, just to kind of help out. But that really kind of hit me, because there was views on both sides. And then, of course, it took one person to say something negative, and before you know it, there the war started. So that's what I decided to title this video, is That Very Thing. Do you have to show up to every fight on Facebook? Well, come to think of it, you have to show up to every fight, period. Now, our tough guys out there, they think, yep, you don't show up for a fight, you're a coward, man. You got to show up and prove who's boss, and that's how you're tough. And, believe it or not, I was a knucklehead for the longest time, and I thought that very, very thing. Well, here's the thing. Rarely when I say, do you win a fight? And, of course, we got the MMA going on, and people see that, and they get all jacked up and excited, and they go out and they want to scrap. It is what it is. I've been martial arts 40 years now, and I've been teaching and coaching and training for 30. Been over to Korea 4 times, and I've fought my battles, baby. I was never one to walk away, and I love scrapping. I mean, that's just, being a smaller guy, that was a thing. But as I've gotten a little bit older, I'm trying to get a little bit wiser. And obviously right now, with social distancing, it's probably not a good idea to get into a physical fight, or nor is it ever. You try and avoid it at all costs. But they brought up the thing about Facebook, and too many times, and I'm just as guilty. I've done this. I'm not pointing fingers. I say I do these videos, to be honest with you, those that are out there that often send questions my way. What I talk about the most are usually the things I'm struggling with the most. So at first I used to think, man, oh man, I'm being a hypocrite here. Because here I'm talking about these things, and people are taking time out of their busy day to listen, and it's the very battles that I'm fighting. Well, one of my mentors, Chris Widener, love you, Chris, he had said, look, that's what all successful, not only inspirational, motivational speakers, but empowering speakers, they talk about the things that they are focusing on or working on the most. Why? They're being genuine. They're being real. And this is what he said to me, if you've got this problem, then I can guarantee you that millions, possibly billions of others are fighting those same battles. So he said the worst thing a coach or inspirational speaker can do is try and get on their perch and talk down to people, and I'm this and I'm that. That's insane. He said relate to them. So I'm sharing this with you. Don't show up for those battles on Facebook. You don't have to show up to every fight. And all our tough guys out there, this doesn't make you a coward by not showing it up, by a fight on Facebook that you, by the way, you can't win. That's where I've tried to get smarter and smarter and smarter. If it's a no-win situation, it doesn't mean I tuck my tail between my legs, but what it does mean, I realize that if I spend an hour fighting with somebody on Facebook, that I'm never getting that time back. I'm never changing their opinion or their mind, because they're going to dig their heels in, and they probably have more time than I have to sit there and be a keyboard warrior. Don't do it. Think about this. Every minute you spend on Facebook fighting with somebody is a minute you're taking away from maybe self-educating, from maybe empowering somebody else, from maybe spending time with your family, your friends, your kids. Yeah, you can't get that time back. So what I mean by that is some battles just are not worth fighting in real life and especially on Facebook. So Some people, I often, when I talk about these things, they'll fire me messages and they'll say, well, yeah, but you can't back down, man, because that's just being a coward. Now, unfortunately, it's a lot of friends in the martial arts industry who, I don't know, all the tough guys, I don't say they haven't learned their lesson yet, but you can't win. It's not worth it. Even if you do win, I don't know how that's possible. It's not like I can jump through the computer and pop somebody. That leads to all kinds of other troubles. But if you do win a battle, what have you really won? And a lot of people say, well, I showed them who was boss, man. Do you really need that? No, you don't. You're better than that, as I like to tell you, because you're not getting that time back. So I've shared this story a couple times, but I'm going to share this with you again. I had posted and this is where I got engaged in a battle on Facebook that I not only could not win, I lost, and if anything else, I guess some people say I tucked my tail between my legs and got out of there. Well, I like to think I just cut my losses, meaning I'd already spent so much time dealing with this person that who wasn't going to change, and then of course, I had to snoop around and check a couple days later, which cost and wasted me even more time, and I noticed this guy didn't have anything out against me. That's just who he was. He had just ripped and shredded. He just went through. I guess he had nothing better to do. The sad thing is he was a martial artist. So I'm like, holy smokes, come on, man. So my thought was, hey, don't do those things. You're better than that. But I forgot who I was talking to. So anyway, the story goes, I filmed a little training video, and I felt really good about it. It was working out the arms and the legs and the upper body, and we're doing some hooks and some uppercuts, and we're hitting some pads, and I felt really good about it, the video, and a lot of likes and a lot of comments. A lot of people saying, hey, man, I never thought of those combos put together. I never thought to incorporate that into a workout. So I was feeling good. Well, this guy comes along and tells me that my technique's the worst he's ever seen, and it's, I should be ashamed of myself, calling myself a martial artist. If you really had any character, you would take that thing down because you're just showing slop. And he went on and on and on and on. Now, I should have just blocked the comment, deleted the guy, and moved on. But I didn't. I got a little snippy, and I said, oh, thank you so much for your feedback. Why don't you share a video so everybody can see your expertise in the martial arts? And the guy responds back with, my stuff's too deadly. I can't show it. That's what a real martial artist does. And I'll kick your... And he went on and on about beating me up through social media and this and that. So I should have let it go, but I typed back, well, thank you so very much for taking time. I'm sure people realize what kind of martial artist you are now. So anyway, what's Jimmy say? Everyone's an expert from behind the keyboard. Yes, they are, sir. And we know, right? We deal with it all the time. So anyway, I should have let it go there. But like I said, I fired back. Little do I know, this guy films a video and calls me by name and boost. He actually paid money to boost this video just to shred me to pieces. So I get tagged in it. So of course I get on there and I'm like, really, man, you're spending money to try and make me look bad? And he hooked me in, man. He hooked me in. And without even knowing it, I'm sparring with this guy on Facebook. Now, here's the big kick in the head. I was on vacation with my family. And I got my phone out. My kids are wanting to go play at the beach, and I'm fighting with this guy. And I'm like, what in the heck am I doing? But here's the deal, and this is the reason I'm doing this video. You get locked in or sucked in or hooked in, trapped, whatever. And man, whether you're a fighter or not, and that's why I put ladies on here too, nobody likes to lose. You don't like to lose. So you're going to fight to the end, even if you're not a fighter. You're going to say, I'm proving my point. You made me look bad. I'm going to show you. I'm telling you from experience, don't do it. Long story short, I put the phone down, finally, after at least 45 minutes. What in the world? Go and play with my kids. I come back later, and I got to see what he said. I got to see what others are saying. It sucked me in. I bet, this is no lie, I ended up wasting close to 2 hours. Now, it didn't seem like it at the time, but 2 hours clicked on by. The next thing I know, I'm like, did I really just spend that amount of time not only away from my family, but arguing with this person online? And the answer is yes, I did. I got sucked in. And I see so many friends out there that they get sucked in the same fight. Or they'll post something political. Don't do that, okay? I mean, I've got a hankering to do it from time to time. It's just going to cause trouble. And I mean, if you want to fight, you got nothing better to do with your time. Well, you're probably not watching this video, so those are wasted words. But those friends out there value the most sacred commodity you have, and that is time. Now, a lot of you are going to say, well, right now I got all kinds of time. Well, take advantage of that time. You know, how productive. I just filmed a little video, I guess I already, yesterday or the day before, and it was, how productive are you during this time right now? Meaning, what are you doing? You're doing something. Are you fighting with people on social media? Are you spending time with your family and your kids? Are you self-educating? Are you going to come out of this pandemic stronger than you were before because you utilize that time well? Utilize that time to, one, spend it with a family that you're never going to get back, or to continue self-educating or watching inspirational, motivational videos and blogs and learning to be a better person, gaining wisdom and insight? Or have you spent that time, wasted that time on somebody who you'll never ever see? Never ever, I mean, and here's kind of the bang right hook of reality and left uppercut of truth. And I say that because I'd like to knock myself out sometimes. If you're not you wouldn't be friends with this person in real life. If you wouldn't take putting up with this kind of nonsense in real life, then why in the world do you waste time on social media with it? That's bullying yourself. That's bullying yourself. And I can't reiterate. I reiterate at this point because I can't stress it enough. I've done it. I've wasted that time. And I look back now, and it's a reminder. And the reason I'm doing this is because right now we got a lot of time, a lot of people on Facebook, a lot of political nonsense. Everybody's an expert on Facebook about, not only the COVID-19, but on stats and numbers and this and that and everything else. Everybody's an expert. And they put it out there. They're digging their heels in. You're not going to change their mind. So am I saying back away from every fight? I'm just saying be wise about the fights you engage in. Can you really win? And what are you going to win? That's the biggest thing. You know, as I started getting, older and older in martial arts, that was the thing. I used to think I had to fight every battle. I didn't want to be a coward. I had to be a tough guy. Who was I proving that to? Myself. My weak ego. Yeah, that's who I was proving it to. You know, Bruce Lee's instructor, Yip Man, once told him, you can defeat 1,000 men. You can defeat 10,000 men. But until you conquer this, until you conquer self-peace, self-worth, self-esteem, until you conquer that within yourself, you're never going to be at peace. It doesn't matter how many men you beat. Now, I'm just kind of paraphrasing. That wasn't the exact quote. But, boy, that means a lot, doesn't it? And I say those things because I've got I call them mental demons that I fight every single day, too. I do. We're all in not this together. We're not in the same boat. You know, my boat's a little different than your boat, and your boat's a little different than your neighbor's boat. You know, small business owners are in a different boat than people that are able to work right now. People that have lost a loved one due to this COVID-19, they're in a much different boat than we'll ever be in, because we don't know the pain that they're going through, right? Yeah. So another little battle thing, I've seen this uproar. Somebody says, oh, I feel you. I know what you're going through. Oh, I totally understand. You know, I guess that's a nice thing to say, but I don't know that we really do. There we go. All right. Wow. I kind of got excited there, didn't I? Now, so what do we do here at the Academy right now? What do we do all the time? And the reason I talk about these messages all the time, one, I want to make sure I'm planting the right seeds in my mind. But most importantly, I want to plant the right seeds in those that take time out of their day to listen. For the kids, for the parents. Parents, I want you to be the best role model you can be for your kids. Because fortunately or unfortunately, depending, they are listening and following in your footsteps. And it seems like they don't pick up on as many good things as we'd like, but they seem to pick up on all the things we wish they wouldn't, right? Yeah. And a little story, I always like stories, I like to share is the mom driving along, and she's running late to get her daughter to school. And, of course, she's hit by every single red light. And then the traffic is moving slow, and she's just getting madder and madder and madder. And she can feel the anxiety building up. Of course, her daughter, kids, they feel everything we're going through, right? So anyway, after another red light, she finally gets the green light, and she's going. Well, this car cuts off and pulls right out in front of her. And right as she goes to open her mouth, I mean, she's going to chew this person out. Before a word comes out of her mouth, she hears from the back seat, You stupid idiot, you moron, you nearly got us killed. What the heck is your problem? The mom just stood there with her mouth open. And as she looked in the rearview mirror, who did she see? She saw herself, right? Yeah. It's not like her 6-year-old daughter learned those words from anyone else. That daughter learned those words from a hero, right? So if we're on social media, and especially if our kids are old enough and they got a social media and they see you fighting all the time, what do they think's the right thing to do? Yeah, they're going to do that very, very thing. So remember, time, the most sacred commodity on the planet. Not showing up to a fight on Facebook does not make you a coward. Man, it makes you wise. And a buddy of mine, Professor Brandon Beliso, wonderful person, he reminds me often, and it's not just me, but everybody, he'll send out a little post. It'll say, love, block, and delete. And what love, block, and delete is, love people, because God says we're supposed to. But God also says we're supposed to love ourselves enough not to waste the most sacred thing we have, time. So love ourselves enough to block and delete those people that are causing pain, that are causing suffering in your life, that are wasting your time. You wouldn't give them $100, but yet we give them something far more valuable than money. We give them a piece of our life. Think about it, right? And what's the old thing about, well, I'm going to give them a piece of my mind. Do you really want to give somebody like that a piece of your mind? You give away enough pieces of your mind, you're not going to have any left, right? Why don't you give yourself, you're like this, peace of mind instead of trying to give them a piece of your mind? I just spun that up in my head. Bang! I got 1 or 2 functioning brain cells left. So, well, good stuff, folks. Well, as always, thank you so much for taking time out of your busy day. I'm very hopeful that this message has maybe clicked with you. Maybe it'll help you the next time you go to get in a war with a keyboard warrior, letting you know that you can't win that fight. And by all means, all our tough guys out there, it doesn't mean you're a coward for backing away from a fight. It means that, man, you're wise. You're wise enough to realize that this isn't worth my time. This isn't worth getting engaged in. This is not worth me giving somebody something that I wouldn't give them money. Well, I sure as heck aren't going to give them something more sacred than money, and that's time. There you go. So our mission here, and I've been talking about it more and more and more and more, kind of with the Grogan's Bully Proof. It's our new brand that I'm working. I've got the book coming out hopefully by July. It's called Bully Proof. But the mission is to end the suffering of millions who are affected by bullying, by empowering kids and adults with hope and the courage and confidence to believe in themselves, to overcome their fears, to battle through their challenges, to become bully proof and live their best kick in life. That's what I'm working toward. And I want to make sure that I'm doing the very best I can, so these very messages I share with you are also a way to remind myself. So I encourage you, you have a gift, you have a talent. God made you unique just like he made me unique, and everybody else were unique. You know, the mold was broke after you were made. You've got something that nobody else possesses. Use that gift to empower many, many others. But make sure you're not spending the most sacred thing on things the return on investment's not there. There you go. All right. Well, I look forward to reading your comments, please. And as I mentioned, and a lot of friends have thrown things my way and say, hey, can you talk about this? Can you talk about that? I'd be more than happy. So if you've got something that you would like me to give my 2 cents on, or to share a peace of mind with you, to hopefully bring you peace of mind, please drop that in the comment box. Make sure you follow our podcast. We're still doing those. It's Grogan's Bully Proof is the name of the podcast, and Grogan's Bully Proof and Kickin' Life is the page. And of course, if you're in the Edwardsville area, it's Grogan's Martial Arts. Check that baby out. We're all virtual right now, so we are taking new students. So if you want to get signed up for a virtual martial arts class, we're doing that through our private lessons and through Zoom. And man, I tell you what, it's going a lot better than I ever thought it could. And I encourage other martial artists that aren't doing that right now. It's about the only thing we can do. So make sure you're doing that to keep things moving along. All right, folks. I love you. God loves you. Please share that love with the world. And please get out there and do what you do best. And fight it on Facebook. If that's what you do best, I'm going to encourage you to come find something different to do. Because once again, you're being productive in 1 or 2 areas. Being productive and living a better life, or you're being productive and kind of floating away there. So there you go. All right. Do your best. You'll become your best. You'll become bully proof, and you'll live your best kick in life. God bless you. God bless your loved ones. Can't wait to read your comments. Can't wait to chat with you again real soon. If you found value in this, share this with someone else who could also receive the value that you've gained from this. God bless everybody. Bye-bye.